focusing on the interface into details. So every component, every menu, every tab that's available, we are going to look at it and see what they do in your application development with Flutterflow. I was supposed to I gave a project work last, just before the break. However, I couldn't finalize the grouping for you. Okay, so just before the class end, I'll talk about that and see how best we can work on it and submit it. All right, so let's kickstart. All right, so um, like I said from previous meeting, you are supposed to download the Flutterflow application. It's internet based, so you always need internet to run it. So have it downloaded and then sign in into the application. Okay. All right. So we want to look at the entire application, the platform. Okay. But to start with, you have to download it and have it set up so that you can be able to create projects. You sign in into it. You can sign in using Amoako Kingsley. Please stop writing on the screen. If you can undo. All right. So, like I was saying, you need to sign up. You can sign up with if you have your Google, your Gmail, you can use it to sign up, or an Apple ID, or even with GitHub. If you have a GitHub account, you can use that to sign up. Then you can have the application accessed either in your browser. Okay, so if you go through your browser and you tap flutterflow.io, you can start, okay, inside your browser. You can start working inside your browser. Okay. Then, with some recommendation, Flutterflow works best when you are using Google Chrome. That's those who would want to use their browser. Okay, and you can have it installed on your desktop, just as I've done here. Okay. Just as I've done here. Okay. Now there are versions to it which you may have to update as you go on. Okay. There are times when you open it, it will request for an update. If you want to do it, you can always update it. And then if you are using the desktop version, okay, so a version of version 7 or higher, if you are using Windows, okay, it is okay. If you are using Mac OS from version 10 going, it's okay. Um, yeah, version 10 going, it's okay. All right, so let's look at the Flutterflow platform and see how it works. And so we look at the platform, we look at it based on the dashboard, the app builder, the storyboard, the widget palette, and then the resource hierarchy. Okay. Looking at it in comparison to the actual Flutter code, which is mainly code based, fully code based, but the Flutter, which is fully code based, and Flutterflow, which is uh, doesn't require. All right. So let's start with the dashboard. Okay. So when you are using Flutterflow, all right, sorry for that. So let's go on. Right, so we are looking at the dashboard. So it's like the first thing you see when you log into your Flutterflow is the dashboard. And the dashboard serves as the hub, central hub for managing your application, managing your projects, creating new projects, searching for projects, and so on. Mm. Now, it provides convenient access to resources and then facilitating seamless collaboration among teams. So that's to say that you can work in teams, you can have people collaborating to projects. So, for instance, with the grouping we are going to you have, okay, for the rest of the semester, you use those groups, okay, to work as a team. So you can always collaborate to the project you are developing as a team. Now it integrates with a marketplace where users can browse, download widgets and templates, and also plugins. Yeah, you can find links to the various resources in the Flutterflow. So by default, when you log in, you see your interface looking like this. So there's the account, there's a plan info. Okay, so in my case, at the moment, I'm using the free version. Okay, so it's a free version, the account info. Then you also have the You also have the notification center, which is here, okay, for notification. Then you have the dark mode and then the light mode. Okay, so you can change it to the light mode or to the dark mode. Then the search and then the filter projects. So if you want to filter your projects, so maybe you have some projects you are working on, some are private, some are shared. Okay, you put them in uh, this directories. Okay, so if you need the private projects, you can always go there and have it. Then we have the project tag, okay, and then create new projects. So basically, if you come to the platform, this is what you see. If you are working in Teams, the Teams option is here, the marketplace option, the resource option. So if you want any resource documentation, uh, in-app tutorials, if you need YouTube tutorials, Flutter University, you can always go there. There are YouTube tutorials to guide you. Then the Flutter community, then community tutorials, and then desktop app. Okay, so these are the resources available. And then if you go to the community too, you have access to some information there. So documentation and any other information you need is available there. All right, so the marketplace takes you to um, the browser. It takes you to your browser. So let me. Okay. So it takes you to the browser where you have various templates and libraries and plugins available. So sometimes you may want to develop an application, okay, but you need a template to which you can edit, okay, where you don't need to develop it from the scratch. So you can come here, download the templates. They are free templates, which are also on the Flutterflow application as well, which you can use. Then there are others which you have to pay for, okay, and also download and edit. Then there are libraries as well, libraries with various widgets that you can download and use for your projects. Yeah. All right, so that's the dashboard. So for the project sessions, it displays all the projects you have created in Flutterflow. It uses the overflow menu for you to rename, duplicate, and then leave the project or add tags and also open projects in a new browser. Okay, so that's the project window. Projects, that's this window you can see here. Okay, so whatever projects you are working on, okay, or you've opened, is showed in this window for you to use, for you to modify, or if you have to create a new one, you can also do that by hitting the create button. Then we talked about the light and the dark mode switch. Then the search button allows you to search for your project. Then filter project filters your project based on the privacy settings. So you can mark the project as private, shared, okay, by you or shared with you. So that's if someone is sharing a project with you to collaborate. Okay, so that can also be seen or accessed through the filter project. Then the tag project. So the tag project, you can create and add tags to your project. Now, this provides quick and organized way to classify and identify projects based on some characteristics, purpose, or status. Okay, so to tag a project, you simply click on the uh, three dots menu on the project title, the project style, and then select tag. Okay, so select tag. Then you can click on it to set your tag. So you can add a tag as we can see from here. So there are tags you can add based on what the project is supposed to do. Okay. So if you look at the image we have here, this tag is to either make the project target as an AI project. If it's a health project, target as an AI project, as a crypto project, as a tech wedding project. Okay, so whichever project you have, you can just create a tag. It's like you're on YouTube or a platform, and then you create a playlist. Okay, so projects that are related to that playlist, you have those projects there. Then the uh, uh, create a new project for creating a new project. So you use the plus sign or the plus button to create a new project. Then we have the notification center, which uh, is used to manage comments and invite across projects. Then the organization tab, uh, you can use to share customized assets and then also APIs between teams and also other projects. Then we have the marketplace to enhance some uh, your Flutterflow application with um, access to pre-built components and templates. Then the resource tab, you can find useful links that will help you build your application, like YouTube tutorial, and then community directs you to community forum where you can ask questions and troubleshoot issues with Flutterflow. Then we have the URL access where you can view and copy URL that needs to be whitelisted for Flutterflow to function correctly. Mainly when you are working with the enterprise environment. Then accounts, that's where you log in. So if you are using a free account or you have a paid account with some passwords and all that, you can do that there. Okay. So that's the main dashboard and how it works. Now let's go to the app builder. Okay, so this when you have created a project and you are now into your what we call the app builder. So for instance, if I create a project, okay, so I give it a name. So let's say sample projects. So start building. You can look for templates that may suit what you want to develop. So maybe an e-commerce application. Or you can also, um, so let's take one of this. So you use templates, okay. want to preview it to see how the template looks. This will take some time. All right, so it seems these ones are not free. So let's just build a blank application. All right. So this is the app builder. Okay, so this is the scene we are coming to look at in this session. So when you open or you create your project, you'll see the app builder, which consists of four main sessions. We have the navigation sessions. I hope you can see the image clearly.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we have the navigation menu. That's on the left-hand side. The left-hand side, navigation menu. So these are the various navigation menu. Then if we come to the top, we have the toolbar. We have the toolbar. So for each of these sessions, we take them one by one and see the components that are there. So we have the toolbar, and then we have the canvas. So the canvas area, that's like the working area of the application. And then we have the property panel. Okay, properties panel. Okay. So let's take them one by one. Let's take the navigation menu. So the navigation menu, which is the left-hand side here, is located on the left side of the builder. It allows you to switch between various Flutterflow features. And this includes designing the UI, managing database, setting up API, adjusting app settings, and adding integrations and more. Okay. So if we look at that aspect, we have, it actually breaks it into two. There's the build and there's the connect, okay, aspects of the navigation menu. So the build aspect, we have the widget palette, there's the widget tree, and then there's the storyboard. Okay, we'll talk about all these components. Okay. Then when we come to the connect, that's where you can add APIs and connect database to your application. So the first one is the fast tool. We have the data types. We have the app values. There's API calls, media assets, custom code, cloud function, tests, agent, team setting, and then the setting and integration. Okay. So the navigation menu includes all these settings. Okay. Now, all the list of features accessible in the navigation bar listed here. So there's a dashboard which manage the projects and access the account information with Flutterflow. There's a widget which access all the widgets for your application. There's a page selector which manage pages and creates manage the pages and help you create your application. Just a moment. All right, so let's go on. So there's the page selector. So the page selector, as you can see, shows or manages the pages and components and also create folders as needed. Okay, so the page selector, um, if you are developing your application, your mobile app, there'll be definitely different pages in the application that you may be switching or navigating uh, in between. Okay. Then there's the widget tree, which gets an overview of all the widgets on the selector page. So the widget tree gets an overview of, you get an overview of all the widgets on the selected page. Then the storyboard gives you a visual apps design. Okay, so like navigation through the page. So for instance, um, if you remember we talked about the UX UI design. Okay, so if you are working on something like Figma, you see all the various pages show on your screen. Okay, so that's the how what the storyboard looks like, or how the storyboard looks like. Then the um, data types, okay, used to create and customize data types for your app. App values, manage states, variables, and constants. Then API calls, define API calls, media assets, upload assets for your app and team. So if you are talking about assets here, we are basically talking about images and maybe audio files, okay, that you intend to use in your application. Okay, so that is where you upload those items. You upload those files in there. Okay, so that's uh yeah, the media assets. Okay, so over here you upload images and files that you are going to use. This is the storyboard. So if you have multiple pages, okay, or we have multiple pages that we are going to navigate through, you see all those pages show up here, okay, to give you a storyboard of how you can navigate through the pages. Then there's custom functions, which customize functionalities, widgets, and actions. Cloud functions, which are used to write and deploy functions for Firebase. Then tests, which add automated tests. Um, agents, which is used to create, configure, or manage AI agents to integrate conversational AI interaction in your app. So something like adding a chatbot to the application you are developing. You can explore these options to do that. Then we have the theme, which you customize, use to customize the appearance. Okay. And then we have the settings and integration, which grants you access to related setting and integration. Okay. Now the theme setting, um, mostly it's advised that if you are developing your application, you do those settings ahead of time. Okay. So what happens is that let's say you want your button to look a certain way, okay, or you always want your background to look a certain way. So inside the design system, under the theme settings, you may want to set the size of your button so that anytime you are using your button, the size remains the same. Okay, so you do those settings down inside the theme settings. That's mainly the design system. Once you have those settings done, anytime you drag and drop a button, the button will have that same size for all. You don't need to now be changing the size one after the other. So if you are using if it's a calculator you are developing and you are introducing, let's say, 10 buttons, okay, what will happen is that once you have set the size, all the size or the size of all the buttons will look the same without you having to go into it one by one. So it's advisable that anytime you are starting a design or a project, the design system, you go into it, set some of the key widgets that you use, okay, to give it the size that you want to um, them to appear in your project. Then we have the toolbar. So the toolbar is the top. Okay, the toolbar is the top. So let's look at the toolbar and what it does. So the toolbar is located at the top of the app builder. It provides easy access to numerous tools and features. It includes options for project configuration, saving your app version, accessing help, reporting and debugging issues, viewing project comment, and downloading um, viewing project comment, downloading your app code, and then running your app directly in Flutterflow. Okay. So This is how the app bar looks like. So depending on the application you are trying to develop, it gives you the the project you are working on. It gives you the project info. Okay. So the project info is there. Then you see the help, which is a question mark with a zero around it. Then you see the keyboard shortcuts, the keyboard shortcuts. Then you have the command palette. Okay. Then you have the AI generation. You have the AI generation history where you can generate AI images and so on. Then project comments. So if there are comments in your project, you see them here. The project suggestion, okay, is also here. Then project issues. So if you have bugs and all that, they are here. Then this is the control version. You want to add your GitHub account to it, to the work. You can do that also from here. Then we have the developer menu. Okay. So developer menu is where you can do the actual coding aspect. Then preview. You want to preview, you want to see how the app will look like before you actually complete designing it or finish the design. And then over here we have the test mode where you test the app to see how it's running. Okay. So let's take them one by one and see what role they play. So the project information menu, project information, um, now hovering over this section reveals essential information about the project. You can easily check the project name, the branch name, the environment name, the current version of Flutterflow you are using, along with the release date. And then additionally, it shows the Flutter version that your project is currently running on. Okay. The current Flutter version your project is currently running on. So if you have your interface, okay, so this is the part, the session we are talking about. So this is the session we are talking about. Okay. So it shows you the project's ID, the branch name. So the branch is in main, the environment is in production, then the version of Flutterflow, okay, that is being used. And the version is running on. Okay. So it gives you that the project name and all that's showing here. Then we have the help menu. The help menu grants you access to essential resources like um, the resource links that comes in handy whilst we are building the application. So what are some of these? So there are search documents. So search documents are there to help you. Community forum, if you search, the feedback is also there. Report a bug. You can use that to submit a bug report. Then tutorials, frequently asked questions and documents. Then if there's anything new. So all those options are there inside the help. Then we have the keyboard shortcuts. So the keyboard shortcuts allow you to perform common actions related to the widgets. So to run your project in test or run mode. Okay, run your project in test or run mode with just a few keystrokes, which saves you time and all that. So if we go into the interface and you click, it gives you this shortcuts. Okay. So you can memorize these shortcuts and use them in your development. So if you want the command palette, you know it's Control K. You want to cut Control X, copy Control C, duplicate Control D. Okay. So knowing these shortcuts, undo, do, zoom in, zoom out. Okay. Knowing these shortcuts helps you run faster in developing your application. So you want to perform a test and run. Okay. If you want to run, you use the control with your E. If you are using MacBook, yours will be command. Okay, the command key together with the other keystrokes that are being suggested. Then the instant reload, that's the control shift with the control plus shift plus I. Okay, so those shortcuts are also available for you to use. Then we have the command palette. So the command palette makes it easy to find and use things in the app builder. Okay. You open the command palette by clicking on the button or pressing Command K, and then you search for anything. Now to search for anything to find out where it is used. And then you click the arrow, the right arrow, to directly access the item. You just click the item. Okay. So if you are looking for something, you use the command, okay, the command palette. So that gives, sorry, that's the search window. So you use the command palette to perform that search. So the command palette, you search for whatever you want to or you are working on, and you do that search, and then you use the right arrow to navigate through, or use the arrows to navigate through, and then search for what you want. Then AI generation, used to generate AI items. Then project comments. So the project comments helps you leave your thoughts, opinions, and feedback on a specific widget with your project team. Then we have the suggestions, which you can scan and suggest enhancements, okay, to the app's design and speed. Then some of those project suggestions are based on optimization and UI enhancement. In terms of optimizations, the elements, so there are elements that may slow down your app. Okay, so what you do is you can optimize those elements, okay, by going through the project suggestions. So for instance, you want to perform a query on a column, use or duplicate the back-end query, and so on. You can use the optimizations to handle that. Then when it comes to UI enhancement, so it gives you tips for more visual, appealing and user-friendly design, like resizing a small tab target for a widget. Okay. Then version control. So version control tracks changes to your project's file over time, allowing you to revert to previous states if needed. Um, you can utilize branching to create separate copy of your project to build or test features without affecting the main version. Okay, so if you have your work hosted or on GitHub, you can have the main work, okay, and be doing changes whilst the main version of your work, okay, it's still intact. Okay. And then you can also have people collaborating in your work. Then the developer mode menu provides developers with access to tools such as view coding, GitHub integration, source code download capabilities. Okay, so even though the applications or the projects we are going to do will be of less code, okay, the developer view is very important. Okay, so even though we are doing drag and drop and so on, we also go there to see the codes that are being generated for us. Okay. Like I said, at the top up level, we are going to do mobile app development again. But this time, we'll focus more on the hard coding, not Flutterflow. Okay, so with that one, what we use is a VS Code, do the various setup, the various configuration, and then we write the code. Okay, so whilst at this level, we are learning the easy way with a drag and drop and writing little codes or fewer codes. Okay, we still need to have a view of the codes that are being generated and also understand them. So in the developer menu, you can view your code. This option lets you display the that code. Okay, in our first lecture, I talked about the that code, okay, for all the pages of your Flutter project. So it displays the that code. You can also take a look at the dependencies that are being used for that application. Then you can connect a GitHub repo or repository. Gives you a step-by-step guide to do that. Can also download your code. So the entire code base is generated by Flutterflow using this option. You can download the APK. It said you use this to generate a release build of your APK, Android APK, and it will automatically download the APK file after building process is complete. Okay. Then Flutterflow CLI, you can download the code using the Flutterflow CLI. Okay. So the Flutterflow CLI basically gives you a command line interface. Okay, so you can use that command line interface to download the entire code, project code, or maybe if you want to use it on a local machine and then develop it further. Okay, you can use the Flutterflow CLI. Then open in VS Code. So that option is there. So like I said, you want to open the code in VS Code and also develop it further by writing the hard code to do that. Those options has also there. But in order to do it in VS Code, you also need to have those plugins available. Okay. You need to have the Flutter plugin installed in your VS Code. So if you go into VS Code extensions, we install the Flutterflow. Okay. Sorry, install Flutter, and then you install that. Okay. Then you can use it. You can now open your code in VS Code and then continue writing your code from here. All right. So that's the developer tab. That's the developer tab. So um, a lot can be done there, especially with respect to what we'll be doing. Okay, then download projects, YAMLs as well, refactor projects. Okay, so all these options are there. Download APK option 2 is there. Uh, all right, then we have the share projects. So you can share projects with others so that they can view and they can also clone the projects. You can preview. So this runs a preview mode, and then the test mode helps you to test and run. Then project issues. Okay, so the last thing we want to talk about when it comes to the notification, the toolbar, project issues. So if there are any issues or warning present, uh, if there are any issues or warnings present in your um, project, in your current project, that might result in a build failure or app crash. They will be displayed in this session. You can click on this session to view the short description of these issues and navigate to the place where you can fix the issue by clicking on the respective issue. So this is how the issues will pop up if there are error or warnings. And then you go into the specific place where the issue is. So if there are warnings, you see them in yellow. If there are error, you see it in red. Okay. So you click on the specific place where the error is occurring or the warning is, and then you fix those bugs. Okay. Any questions so far? Any question? Any
So we
question?
can go over the warning.
So saying that this one, that's the project issue. Okay. Project issue. So if you click there, you see warning and error. Okay. In this case, we've not written any project, so you are not seeing it. Okay, but from the document I'm using, it's a document. So from the document, you see the warnings pop up, okay, or the issues pop up in this form. Then when you click on it, the warnings are yellow. So you see the yellow, or even in your code, even in your application, you see the yellow. Those are the warnings in your project. Then the red ones are the error. Okay. So what you do is you click on it and then see the issue and resolve it. Just like when we are using IntelliJ and we have some uh, exceptions and some warnings. Sometimes the text is red, which could mean that you've not you need to introduce an exception in there, or you need to, for instance, uh, uh, your JDK has not been um, you've not added your JDK to the application. Okay, so we see that when we are doing Java code. Okay, so this also gives you warning and error. So as and when you have those in the program, you go to the project issues and then check what those error or warnings are and have them resolved. Okay. All right, so that's for the toolbar. As for the toolbar, now let's move to the canvas area. So this is the canvas area, or what you term the working area. Our working area. That's here. This is our working area or the canvas. All right, so sorry. The canvas shows the screen of the device. So it shows the screen of the device, which could be a mobile device, an iPad, a web-based, or a desktop-based device. Okay. Now it allows you to add widgets via the drag and drop option. Okay. And then you can select move and position widgets anywhere on your canvas. So if you go into your canvas, these are your widgets. Okay. Then on the widget palette, these are your widgets. It allows you to drag and drop widgets onto your the screen of your gives you a screen of your device, which is this. So if this is a mobile device, okay, and we want to add probably a container, we drop the container, drag and drop the container. Okay, so that is how we select, move, and position widgets on the canvas. Now um, it allows zoom level adjustments and previews in dark or light mode. It also includes features like multi-language preview, um, add app bar, navigation bar, simulating larger front visualization, and more. Okay, so if we look at the interface, as you can see from here, you see the hide, the show or hide navigation menu. Okay, so the navigation menu is what's at the left hand side over here. So when you click on it, it hides or shows the navigation menu. It hides the navigation menu or shows the navigation menu. So that's this one. So if I click on it, it hides the navigation menu. Okay, and it brings it back. Then there's the zoom. Uh, the zoom controls. Okay, can make it smaller, make it bigger. The zoom controls are here. Then we have um, AI generator, but that's not on this. So with this one, there's an AI generated page, okay, which can be done. I think this is a much newer feature that is added, or a premium version, which is not on the free version. Okay, so to generate a page. Then we have the preview screen. So the preview screen is basically where we are going to be developing the application. Okay, the preview screen. Then we have the add app bar and then add navigation bar. Add app bar and add navigation bar. Add app bar and add navigation bar. Okay. So we have multi-language preview. Okay. Multi-language preview. Then there's the dark mode, light mode. Then there's the uh, display device. So how the device should be displayed. We have the handlebars, okay, show and hide keyboard, larger font visualization, and then the canvas settings. The canvas settings. The canvas settings. Yeah. So let's go into them one by one. So the preview screen, this is the canvas of the device screen where you can build your user interface. You can customize the screen by adding widgets using drag and drop from the widget palettes by applying properties present in the panel, in the properties panel. And then the hide and show navigator opens and closes the navigation menu. Zoom controls, which helps you to control the zoom level of the canvas. Then AI generator helps you to create a page using AI. And then we have the add app bar. Okay, add app bar. So the add app bar, you can add an app bar to your page. To do so, you click this and then it pops up and then you add the app bar. Okay. So you would usually see it at the top here. Let me go back. Okay, so we have it here. That's the app bar. So if you want to add app bar, you want to add an app bar with a back, okay, with a larger header and a back button, with a back button and a centered title, and whichever option you want, you can select that over here. Then our app bar, we give it a name. Let's say sample application. So that's the app bar. Then we have the nav bar, the navigation bar also down here. So if you want to use that to navigate. Then the multi-language preview. Now, if the multi-language preview feature is enabled, you can use this to preview your app in different languages. Okay, so you add the languages to your canvas, or yes, to the canvas, and then you can use that to you can use that to perform or add languages. Okay. Right. So if you want to do that, so maybe it's an application you are developing. If someone who speaks French wants to use this your application, okay, the person, you can easily do that switch from English to French. Okay. So Google, the good thing about Flutterflow is that it works well with Google. So Google translates everything on the application into French. So for instance, if you go to um, settings, where I think languages, yeah, languages, you set the primary language. Okay. So add the language. So let's say English. So English is the primary language. So it sets the language English. Okay. Then I can add another language. So let's say French. So that is added, and I can use AI Translate to perform that translation. Okay. So if I it is not showing, I think we need to do some configuration to translate page. Great. Yeah. So to do that, it requires some payment plans. Because I'm using the free version, I don't have access to that. Okay. But this will do It's the home page we are translating. And I named the app bar sample application, the title. Okay. So when you do the translate page, what will happen is that to translate, it will use the Google translator to do that translating for you. Yes, Arnold, hand is up. Arnold, do you have a question? Hello, Arnold. All right, let's go on. Okay, so it's going to use that to translate and then uh back. Okay, so I need to change it back to English. Okay, so it's appearing, but when you do the configuration, so you need an upgraded plan to be able to do that. The free version doesn't give you that option, but it's something that can be done. Okay, if you are building your application. Please, those turning on their video, we don't want to see your video. Okay. All right. So where are we? Need to finish this today so that Wednesday we can look at it one simple project. All right, then the dark mode, then the display device. So display device is at the top. Okay, so whichever device you want, the size, you specify that. Okay, so this I guess is an iPad. Okay, and this gives you more like a desktop application. Then we have the handlebars. The handlebars enable you to resize. Okay, so you can just select your application, do the resizing. Do the resizing as well. I mean, then you can hide and show keyboard, larger font visualization. Okay, and then you can do your canvas settings. So with the canvas settings, you go to the with the canvas settings, okay, you go to these options. Okay. In my case, some of the options are not there, so I need to go and uh, add them. Okay. But um, the canvas option should be here. Yeah, canvas settings are over here. So you can use those settings. That's you enable the snapping. So the snapping, you can do a resize, show resize bar, set canvas color. Okay. So at the moment is on set. So you can do this to set the canvas color. Okay. Leave it as on set. Right. Okay, then the safe area. So the safe area is a concept in mobile design that prevents content from being obscure by physical features of the device, such as the camera notches, the sensors, the rounded display edges, and so on. Now, in this context, Flutterflow offers a safe area switch, which allows you to enable and disable the features as needed. Okay, so I showed you that button there. Then the resize snapping, uh, you can resize it to specific pixels or percentage. Then the canvas color, the navigation bar, and all that. All right, so that's for the canvas area. And then we have the properties panel, which is here. So it's straightforward. The properties panel lets you modify the visual appearance and interactive behavior of your UI and the canvas. It allows you to add actions, which is one of the things we'll be doing a lot. So actions are more like we are adding events, event handling. Okay, we will add actions, we add back-end queries, and then add animations and more. Okay, so the properties panel allows you to do that, which is this part. Okay, this part of the of your interface. So to explore the details of each property panel, click on the following. That's the page property. That's when you have selected a page. Then the widget property is when you have selected a widget, including the building components. Okay, so they allow you to perform those settings. Then let's move to the storyboard. Talk about it quickly, and then we can end for today. So the storyboard allows you to visualize the overall design and navigation of your app. So on the storyboard, you can see different screens and user interaction that make up your app. They allow you to see how users will navigate through your app and ensure that your user experience is as intuitive and user-friendly as possible. Okay, so the storyboard, this is how it looks like. From my example, I have only one page, so you don't see or one screen, so you don't see the multiple screens, okay? But this is how the storyboard will look like. So you have a login screen, then maybe the main product screen, and then add to cart. So if I sign in and I click on continue, it leads me to the login screen, okay? However, if I can't sign in and I need to register, this will also lead me to another screen. So if you see this arrow is going down somewhere, then if I need to sign in with my uh, Google account, okay, that will also take me to the page, okay, my main page. Now, if I go into the main page and I click on an item, it will give me a show, click on an image, and so on. Okay, in our next meeting, we'll design an interface like this for products, okay, or e-commerce with page with you showing how you have signed in with your image and your details, and then showing some products, okay, that you can navigate through. So if, for instance, you add something to cart, that will show here. If you click on it, it takes you to the cart page. Okay, so you see all the items in cart. So that is how the storyboard works. Okay. Now the storyboard has some legends. The A storyboard legend is a visual key or guide that explains the meaning of different lines, icons, colors used in the canvas. They use the following elements inside the storyboard. So we use the lines, meaning that it's navigating and mainly login action. The short dashes are used for the button uh, sheet action, and then this for hidden widgets. So the solid lines are used to represent navigate and action, login action. Dotted lines are used for button sheet action. Then the right arrow icon represents hidden widgets. These widgets may not be visible in the current page window. Okay, so that is it. Okay. Uh, then let's move to the palette. So the widget palette, okay, um, this is how they look like. So they provide access to all UI elements, and these are essentially Flutterflow widgets that can be dragged and dropped onto the canvas. And you can use the search bar to quickly locate specific widgets for your application. So there are five. First, we have the widgets, which is the first one, as you can see here. So you can access all the standard widgets. They are organized into different categories based on the purpose, making it easier to navigate and find the appropriate widget for your application. Okay, so that's this one here. Yeah. This over here. Then the next one is the components. That's two. This is the component. So you can search for components. Then the next one, we have the templates. So widget templates, you can also pick templates from here to design. So maybe I want to design how notifications should pop up. I can pick these templates and use it so that anytime I want to add a notification, it looks like this. Then maybe account. Someone logs into an account. This you want it to show in this form. So I can use this template to handle accounts. Then there are different templates for drop down in accounts handling that. Okay. Then we have the fourth one, which is the theme widgets. Theme widgets. So the theme widget enables you to create, to customize visual widgets of individual widgets and reuse them consistently throughout your application. Okay. And then finally, we have the floating widget palette. Floating widget palette. So the widget palette, the widgets are here, but I can also do a floating widget, okay, which is this one, which you can easily drag and drop with. And once you do that, it modifies your widget tree as to which component or which widgets you have added in there. All right, so finally, let's talk about the resource hierarchy, and then we can call it a day. So the resource hierarchy, just want to have an overview of it. Um, this guides this guide in to help you understand the structure and elements of a typical Flutterflow project. Okay, to walk you through some important parts of the app for the overall project. down to the individual design element, explaining the purpose and how they relate to the traditional Flutter application component. Okay. So the diagram illustrates the Flutter flow structure. So first you have the project. Then on the project, you create your pages. Okay. Then from the pages, or the project is also built on a design structure. Okay. So on the page, you can now add you built your widgets, and if there are some components, you add them. Okay, your built-in widgets and add components. So the project represents the overall application you are building in Flutterflow. It encompasses all the elements listed below and serves as a container for your entire project development effort within Flutterflow. The page refers to the individual screens within the Flutterflow project. Each page represents a part of the user interface where users can interact with the app. Multiple pages collectively make up a complete user interface of your application. Then the built-in widgets, these are pre-designed widgets provided by Flutterflow that you can use to build your application's interface. The building widgets simplify the development process by offering common UI elements like button, text fields, sliders, and so on. Then we have the components. So the components in Flutterflow is a reusable UI block that can be used across different pages within the project. Components are useful for maintaining consistency and using redundancy in your app. Okay, so some components are maybe a dialog box. Okay, you can insert it into your project. Then the design system refers to a set of standards for design within your Flutterflow projects. The design system in Flutterflow includes predefined styles that ensure visual consistency throughout the project. Okay. Then, so I think I took you through the design, the design, that's a theme setting, yeah, design system. Okay, so you can perform those settings there, do those manual settings. You can even connect it with Figma. Okay. But we'll go into that after you've done the project from before the Christmas break. Okay, so this is how Flutterflow is linked to Flutter. Okay. Now, if you are working with Flutter, we have what we call my app, my page. Okay, but Flutterflow is known as projects. Then my app, my page in Flutterflow, we say page. Now the column, button, and text, they all form the widgets. Then we have the customized widget, which is the component. And then we have the theme and the style constraints, which are the design system. Okay, like I said, one of the main things you do before you actually start writing your project. You set the theme, set the style, the constants, style constants, and then you start developing a project. All right, so there are also some resource descriptions. So hopefully when we start the development, you appreciate some of these components that we've talked about. Any question? Any question?
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. This is
Yes.
Benjamin Abuda.
Yeah, Benjamin. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Between the Flutter Flow and then the Visual Studio, to install the plugin. Which one will you recommend?
Can you repeat yourself again?
I'm saying between the Flutterflow software itself and then
Yes.
installing the plugins also in the Visual Studio, which one do you think, will be okay for us?
At the moment, we are all using Flutterflow.
Okay.
Yes. The Visual Studio Code is mainly if you are going to do the actual coding.
Oh,
But what
okay.
I'm saying is that we are going to use this more at the top up level where we will be writing the codes itself. But at this level, at least we want you to gain some interest in application development. So we use the Flutterflow with more drag and drop and less coding,
Coding. Okay.
so that you get the interest before at the top up level you do the actual coding.
Okay. Oh, okay. But also in the Flutterflow, is it possible to also do the coding in it, or the coding is
Yes,
only done in the... Okay.
yes, you can do some minimal coding. So I showed you the developer tab where you can view code. Okay, so this will open in the browser. You can view the code and do whatever you want to do with it. I need to sign in. And so, but when you do it, view code, you can view the code in the developer. You can even download the code. So if you want to
Oh,
understand the code behind the drag and drop you are doing.
mm. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yes, Rich, is it Richmond? Richmond.
Hello there.
Yes. Yeah.
Please, I was asking that why not Flutter itself but Flutterflow?
Oh, I've explained it all. If you listen to my response to the earlier question,
Okay,
explained it.
okay,
Yeah. It doesn't mean I'll not introduce you to concepts in Flutter. You'll be introduced to those concepts. But this is just for you to enjoy, like appreciate the course.
okay,
Because you are the first batch doing it at the HND level, I just thought it wise to do the Flutter flow, which is much simple, so that everyone in the class can actually have a feel of it. Because when we go to the coding, I'm sure majority of the class will abandon the course for me and the serious ones.
all right, okay,
So when we do it this way, everyone is involved, at least the drag and drop and all that, you know it. Then when we generate the code at the top up level, you now know what this is doing. So if you are writing the code, it doesn't, you are not confused, or you don't, you try to understand, or you'd understand what is going on. If we say column, if we say row, if we say this, introduce a container, do this, you know what you've have it's been visualized in the Flutter flow for you to see. So if you are now writing the code, it becomes simple.
okay,
But it
okay.
doesn't mean we
Thank you.
won't do the coding. We'll look at some coding aspect as we go along. But the focus won't be on the coding itself, but mainly your ability to be able to develop an application with minimal coding.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, Philip. So we take Philip, the last question. The
Good
last.
afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Please, can we have the recording of the class?
Yes, I'll make it available. And even
Okay.
the material I'm using.
Mhm.
So